Welcome to the LifePro podcast, where today I have the pleasure of having Christy Freddo, who's the founder of Best Life Mindset. Today's topic is manifest your best life. But before we get into that, how are you today, Chrissy?
I'm amazing. It's Friday.
Yeah, it's exciting. And why don't you start out and tell everybody more about yourself?
Well, I'm a transformational life coach, which means that I help people break down their life and rebuild it into something amazing, something they will love, something that looks completely different. And I do that using strategies based on my own transformation.
Very cool. So today's topic is manifesting your best life. And I know that there's moments where you found like courage to really like change your life. So why don't you, talk a little bit more about that?
So in 2011, in the span of 6 months, I left a toxic but high paying, glamorous corporate job and got a divorce, got out of an abusive marriage, and got sober. And then 2 years from that first decision, I had met the man that I would later marry and blend a beautiful family with. I had bought my own business, all the while being sober, and have been living my best life since. And recently, in a moment of quiet, realized that I should tell that story of how that all happened and share the strategies that I stumbled upon and had wished that I'd had in the beginning to help other people. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm here today.
Awesome. I mean, we appreciate that. So I think, from my standpoint, it could be a challenge. It could be a challenge for people to really understand what their life could be like. What advice do you have for people to break out of their mundane, break out of their routine, take a step back and really understand and have that vision of what their life can be like?
So I think first you have to know where you are today and what's not working. I think you have to take a second and figure out if you're aligned in every area of your life with your true authentic self, with your core values. And in areas that you aren't aligned, figure out what kind of changes you want to make. And then I think there's a second step to that, which is taking a moment to really imagine, really dream. Think about what would you do? For example, what would you do for a career if every career paid the same amount of money? If you won the lottery tomorrow, what would you be doing? What did you love doing when you were a kid? Like, really get deep into what you would like to be doing. And then look at those areas of your life where you're not in alignment and go back to those core values and reinvent yourself essentially. And we actually have, we'll talk about it at the end, but we have a reinvention roadmap that is a giveaway at the end of this that helps you do all of those things.
That's great. As far as obviously that's one of the tools that we use. I personally have a vision board that I create, and I kind of look at on a monthly basis. I have it printed up on my door, and really I use that as a tool to help me kind of envision my goals and get to that point where I can get to them. And a lot of that is coming down to manifestation. So let's talk about manifestation. What does that mean?
So manifestation is more or less a part of the law of attraction. Same attracts same, right? So you want to be think about what you want to bring about, right? So if you want to completely change careers and you've decided what you want to do with your life, maybe you are working in corporate America today and you want to be a lawyer and you're 35 and you're like, I can't really make that change. Well, of course you can make that change. People make changes like that
Yeah.
all the time. So it's thinking about yourself as a lawyer. What does it look like? What do I wear every day to
Yeah.
work? What does it feel like to be in a law firm? How do I feel as a person when I am being a lawyer, maybe defending people, who knows, who've been
Yeah.
unjustly accused or whatever it is that's your dream? What does that feel like? And really getting into the emotion of what that future self and that future state feels like, which is really the key to manifesting, is understanding your thoughts and feelings of your future self. That's when you really start to make progress on manifesting according to any of the experts.
Yeah. But people tend to limit themselves. They make excuses why they can't do things. Any advice for people how to get over those, limiting beliefs?
Well, it's never too soon and it's never too late to make a change, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of limiting beliefs are the programs that we've running through our minds. And everyone, whether you realize it or not, you have a program running through your mind. And in most cases, it's probably negative or partly negative if you haven't done anything to affect that program.
Mm.
And we can all reprogram ourselves and our thoughts to have positive thoughts all of the time and get the negative out. For example, what are you putting in your brain? Are you, a lot of people will, you know, you asked earlier, how do you get out of the mundane, the everyday to be able to focus on that future? Well, are you spending a lot of time on social media? Are you watching a lot of cable news? Is a lot of negativity going into your brain? And what are you putting in that's positive? So using
Yeah.
things like vision boards, using
Yeah.
things like positive affirmations on a regular basis, only putting your attention on positive outcomes and releasing negative outcomes. When you have a negative thought, do you stop and acknowledge that and then immediately replace it with a positive thought or a thought of gratitude? Are you practicing gratitude every day? What are you doing to make positive programming for that tape that runs through your head every day?
Yeah. And how much talk to us about meditation, how you used and implemented meditation to help transform your, thought process.
So meditation is an interesting topic. I know a lot of people are sort of scared of meditation or don't think it sounds like something that's for them, or they've tried it and didn't like it. In my ebook, I even have a chapter on meditation because I think it's so important. And I start that chapter with, I know everybody really wants to skip this chapter, but please don't, because there are ways to do this. So I think the first thing you have to know about meditation is no two people meditate the same way. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. It's all about experimenting and finding what is right for you. So there are different kinds. There is body scan meditation, for example, which is where you could be lying down, for example, and you start to think like, I'm going to release the tension at the top of my head, right here in the center of my head. And just doing that is a pretty amazing feeling if you ever sit and just do that. And then you work your way down, the tension throughout your face, throughout your jaw, throughout your shoulders, you go all the way down your body. And that is a form of meditation. And then you sort of sit in that more relaxed state. There's, Zen meditation, which is the meditation that people think about, which is where you're going to, sit on the ground crisscross and, you're going to try to get all the thoughts out of your mind and try not to think about anything. And when thoughts come in, you're going to dismiss them, acknowledge and dismiss them, right? For me, that's a very hard type of meditation. And another meditation that people don't think of is at the end of a yoga class in Savasana, which is how I discovered meditation originally. And there's also guided meditation, which is my absolute favorite kind of meditation and the easiest kind for me, and the kind where I think that I get the best results.
Yeah. Do you recommend, I know it's very hard for, like you stated, it's very hard to, build that practice and that habit of meditation. Do you recommend starting slow or smaller periods of time and then building up? Is there a suggestion you have for that?
Absolutely. I think you can start with 5 minutes a day. And if you can do 5 minutes a day for an extended period of time and then go up to 10 minutes a day, or maybe 5 minutes is good for you. Maybe you
Yeah.
find that releases your anxiety. And, after a month of meditating consistently, and consistency is really the key, you will feel a difference. And then if you miss a day or two, you will definitely feel that as well.
Mhm.
So I think that you can start small. You can even stay small with it, for
Yeah.
example. And I think that if you're new to meditation, try all the different kinds until you find one that actually works for you, because there are health benefits, there are mental health benefits. And to me, meditation is also the pathway to manifesting. So to me, it holds the keys to a lot of things. It
Well,
clears
talk.
that clutter. It clears that clutter so you can focus on the future and your goals. It
Got it.
does so many things.
So talk about that. How do we use that? How do we use meditation in conjunction with manifestation? Does it happen at the same time? Do we, what's the platform? Do we have do we do our affirmations at the same time? Talk about that a little bit more.
You can actually do either or both. Like I said, it's a very flexible
Yeah.
situation, meditation. It's not as black and white as people think. So, one thing you can do is a guided meditation that repeats affirmations that are um, relative to what you're trying to do. So there are different meditations you can find for anxiety, for different things. Then there are manifestation specific meditations that are guided. And those are the ones that I personally love the most, because I feel like you get the benefits of releasing anxiety and sleeping better and all of those different meditation benefits, but you also can work on your manifesting in that. So what that looks like is in those meditations, it will ask you things like, it'll ask you to do things like, think about your future. What does it look like? Where do you live? Picture your house, walk around your house, see the pictures of in your dream house, see the pictures of your family, open your closet and see your favorite outfits, the shirts that you wear on a daily basis, to really get you into that space, right? And then it'll talk about who's there, who are you talking to, what kind of shape are you in, what's your health like, are you in the best shape of your life, or are you just healthy, are you what are you doing for a living? It's, if it's time to go to work, what does that look like? Are you doing something that you're meant to do? Are you doing something that is your heart's desire? Are you doing something that doesn't even feel like work? What is it? Think about that. And it'll give you time in the meditation to visualize these things. And you want to take time to feel what it feels like and to have the appreciation and the gratitude while you're in that meditation, while you're in that future state. You want to have a gratitude of like a feeling of thank you so much that I am living my best life. Thank you so much that I am doing something now that helps other people and that I love and that is so natural for me and that uses all of my God-given skills and abilities and is easy and fun for me. And so you want to feel that, you want to actually have that emotion. And that's what really activates manifestations. And I've had that experience in my own life whenever I decided that I wanted to really get serious about doing coaching. And at the same time, I discovered manifesting through meditation. And I started doing that and started thinking about what does the coaching look like? So I'd always thought I'll coach female entrepreneurs because I'm an entrepreneur and I have a successful spa here in Dallas. And I thought, that's what I'll do. I'll help people with, doing that. And once I started really doing these manifestation meditations, it became clear really quickly, like within a matter of a couple of weeks, that what I really wanted to do was help people with their lives. I wanted to use my story of transformation that I had never told anybody. I had hidden it from everyone for years, for a decade, even my own husband. Nobody knew about my alcoholism. Nobody knew about my abusive marriage. People just knew I was divorced and I didn't drink, for example. And it became very clear that's what I was going to do. And then the ebook became something that, what if I wrote a book about this? And in my manifestations, I'm writing a book in these meditations, right? And the next thing you know, I sat down and I wrote the whole ebook in a matter of 5 days and barely edited it after that. And it was easy and it was fun and it just was flowing and I didn't even have to think about it. Right. And that's what it's really about, right? That like within a month's time of using that as a slightly different strategy than manifesting, which I'd always done, when I added in meditation, all of a sudden things were happening and they were happening fast. And I could feel the energy pulling me toward that future.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing combination.
That's exactly how I see it. You touched on a lot of things in that last segment. And, to me, it's positive manifestation is about, obviously, like you said, feeling how you would feel if you reach your goals. It provides you clarity in the fog. It keeps you in line with what your goals are. It helps you focus, and the law of attraction attracts you to opportunities that help you to get to what your vision is. And, you get to that flow state. I think a lot of, as a business owner through the years, I've worked hard to get to that flow state. And when you're on the right track and you're in line with your future goals, everything seems to just come easy. And even when you have problems, they are not obstacles. When you're in that flow state, you're able to kind of conquer those obstacles and they don't affect you emotionally. When you're not in a good place, everything is more difficult, everything is more magnified, and this is your opportunity to kind of take a step back and focus on what your goals are and get realigned and recalibrated towards your goals so you can get that flow state.
You're exactly right. And it's that energy that pulls you towards something when you know you're on the right path.
Yeah.
And if you're not feeling that, then you might not be on the right path. It's just like when you meet somebody new for the first time and something tells you, like, this person is going to be somebody I'm going to do things with in the future, you know, whether it's professionally or personally or whatnot. And there are sometimes you meet people and you feel your energy like repelling from them
Yeah.
because that's not your path or whatever, you know, that's not where you're supposed to go with things. And it's the same with what you're going to do with your life, I feel like, and you know when it's the right thing.
Yeah.
And you know when it's not. And so you need to listen to your intuition and your feelings.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say is I think a lot of these exercises, manifestation, meditation, affirmations, all these things allow you to achieve that optimal intuition. It provides the clarity that you need to make the right decisions. And then, you just let your gut take over.
Yes. Listening to your gut is so important. It tells
Yeah.
you everything.
So tell us a little bit more about this ebook and what inspired you to write it and what are you hoping that people take away by reading it?
Well, I'm hoping several things. I'm hoping that people will realize that if you can change your mindset, you can change your life. If you can change your thinking, you can change your life. It's that simple. And there are specific ways that you can do those things, right? You can rewire your brain. You can put positive things in there. You can focus on the end. You can practice meditation. You can practice manifestation. You can do all of those things, right? They're easy to do. You just have to do them consistently. It's not a hard thing to do to change your life. People think it seems insurmountable, but it's really not if you're consistent and you're committed. And so I want people to realize that. Another thing is with alcoholism, addiction, abusive relationships, that sort of thing. I want to be a part of the movement to help destigmatize those things so people can get help and they're not sitting in a dark corner alone struggling. They can get help, they can get out of it. Those sorts of things by just bringing light to it, that a perfectly successful person can be living those things at home and in private, and there's nothing wrong with it. And it's okay to come out if that is, something you're struggling with, and get help.
Yeah.
And I also just want people to have hope that
Yeah.
you can be in like the most extreme, deepest, darkest place that I was, and you can rebound and live an amazing, beautiful life that is more than you could have dreamt of.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
So,
everybody can improve their lives, some more than others. And that's a lot of the reason why, I started this podcast was, I wanted to improve my life. I wanted to take part in helping others improve their lives, and give people like yourself that have had such an impact on themselves and want to impact others in a positive way, the platform to be able to evoke change and evoke a better world and a better life. One thing that I ask everybody, what is one thing that you want to teach the world? Does not have to be related to the topic, but what is one thing you'd like to teach the world?
if I could teach any one thing, it would be what I said about the destigmatizing so people could get help.
Yeah.
I just think that's so important. And I just want to be a small part of that movement that I think is starting in the US. I feel like we really need to make some changes in mental health. And I think it will help in so many
Yeah.
ways. People who are suffering in silence, it will help with mental health issues that end up leading to things like mass shootings. I mean, it can really change the world if we can help destigmatize the mental health issues. The impact would be amazing if people could get help and get help early.
Yeah. Goes back to what's written right behind you. Live your best life.
Yes.
It all comes down to that,
And
being the
everyone
best.
deserves that.
Yeah. Everybody deserves to be the best version of themselves. And some of that is obviously working on themselves or working on their surroundings, whether it's, a relationship or, just interpersonal. It really starts with having the best relationship with yourself, having that respect for yourself and demanding the best. And that way you'll attract the best, and you'll attract the positive people around you that'll flow into your best life.
Yes, it is true. You will definitely find that it will change every aspect of your life to be
Absolutely.
positive.
So books are a big part of my life. Obviously, it's so powerful, and I'm looking forward to reading your ebook. Is there a book that inspired you or changed your life?
It's really hard to narrow it down to one because I love to read and I love to put positive things into my brain. One author who I love, I can't get enough of, I listen to her podcasts, I've read her books multiple times, is Dr. Caroline Leaf. Have you heard of her?
I have not.
So she's a neuroscientist who also happens to be a Christian, which is just an odd combination that you don't get a lot. So she has a little bit of a different perspective, but she talks a lot about rewiring your brain and neuroplasticity and the fact that, you can replace your negative thoughts with positive thoughts and the neuroscience of that. And essentially, the more you think positive thoughts, the more that what fires between your neurotransmitters, what fires wires. So the more that you are firing those positive thoughts, the more they will wire permanently into your brain and become a part of you. Right. And so she has a book called Clean Up Your Mental Mess. That's pretty good. And she has a great book called Turn On Your Brain, which I love that book also. And in the different books, she talks about everything from, what I'm talking about basic positivity and rewiring your brain to curing illnesses. And I had a great personal experience when I first discovered her, which is why I am such a big fan. I suffered from chronic migraine, and for a year, I could not almost get out of bed some days because it was so bad. I couldn't go to work. I couldn't get to social functions. I couldn't get to things for my kids. I had been to multiple neurologists. Nothing helped. And one of the things she talks about is never let yourself talk about or think about health situations. Like, as far as you're concerned, they don't exist. And she has a big thing about thinking in the as is, as if it is. So imagine that you are healthy and that you don't have any migraines, and be thankful for that. And even say, thank you for curing my migraines. And so I started to do this, and people would ask me about, how are your migraines? Because people knew, because I missed so many things. And I'd be like, they're great. They're getting better. It's amazing. And that was really the turning point for me, is
Wow.
making that change. And, that was now like 5 years ago. And I don't suffer with the chronic migraine situation where I can't live my life anymore. I occasionally
Yeah.
get a headache, and I occasionally, maybe once a year, get a migraine that's so bad that I can't get out of bed, but it's a complete transformation. And I really credit that type of thinking
Mhm.
and her teachings for helping make that turnaround.
Yeah, and that's the epitome of our topic here. So you were able to overcome such a big problem in your life, health wise, just by the affirmations and the positive manifestations, and just being real positive about your progress. So that gives us a great perspective on things here.
Yeah, she's amazing. And also in that same line, another neuroplasticity that's great is Joe Dispenza. If anyone
Oh, of
has
course,
read
yeah,
Joe
yeah,
Dispenza, he talks about the same things but in different ways,
yeah,
and that's always nice when you have authors that come at the same topic with different strategies. So
absolutely. So how do first of all, how do people get your ebook, and how do people get in touch with you or follow you?
we are Best Life Mindset, and can be found at bestlifemindset.com. We're also on Facebook and all social media. We're on Instagram as well, as Best Life Mindset. The ebook and the Reinvention Roadmap, I have given you links to, and I think you're going to put them in your profile, right? So that
Right,
people
yeah,
can download these for free as a special gift for listening today.
it'll be in the show notes, so look for them there.
Yeah, so that would be great. And my email's on my website. So if anybody wants to reach out, anyone has a question or a thought, like, I would love to hear from you. I love talking to everybody about life and how they get onto the road to living their best life.
That's very inspirational, Chrissy. You've inspired me, and I'm sure you've inspired all our listeners. I thank you for your time, and I, look forward to using a lot of these tools in my own life, and look forward to, hearing about your journey moving forward.
All right, let's keep in touch. Thank you for
Absolutely.
having me.
Our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.